So, if you're like me and you've looked all over the internet to try and find ideas for a boot drying rack, I was unsuccessful. The reason I made one is I go out west to Colorado to go elk hunting, and inevitably our boots get wet, my hunting buddies and I. So what I concocted was a rack here that can hold boots and other accessories for drying next to a wood burning stove that we use in our wall tent. We camp at the end of about a 9-mile road, no electricity nearby, so your conventional boot dryers are out, and we've been kind of drying them around the fireplace, but that doesn't work so great. So if we've had, which we have every year we've been out there, we either get rain or we get snow, or you walk through some creeks, or your feet get real sweaty. After a few days of that, it can be difficult to get your boots dry. So what I made here is what I could come up with for a rack to put inside a wall tent, and that will sit near the wood burning stove. And I have just a little mock-up here of my stove, kind of a box to represent it, and one of these extra railings to represent my stovepipe. What I started with is the theoretical border of my wall tent will be, coming right along the edge here, and then it'll go this way along here, and our door will actually be right about here when you come in the tent. We have a 16 by 20, so it's about 8 feet over here is where the door will be, right by my drying rack. Anyways, as you can see, I started with one of these, what are they called here? Track and tool holder that I got from Menards. I actually bought 2 of them. The other one's back here. I think they had either a 4-foot size or this is a 6-foot size. So knowing I wanted 5 pair of boots, I got a couple, and I'm actually going to be able to return this one, but this is my pretend chimney for now. So best I can figure from where the dimensions of the tent are, where a stove is, it's going to be somewhere in here. And then what I figured for height, I believe it's about 2 feet, and so what I wanted to go off of that was about another 2 feet up to the bottom of the boots. I will field verify or test this in a few weeks here when we go out west and make adjustments as needed, but this is kind of a starting point. So cost wise, Minnesota here, a shop at Menards. You can go wherever and get one of these, but if I can get this to focus, hardly matters. The 10 of these, I don't know, sorry, that's terrible. I'll just read it. 10 of these, they're called a 12-inch double peg here. Comes up and comes over, and they're actually, one piece here. And let me see. They are $3.49 a piece, and I got 10 of them, so that's $35. And this track, one of these tracks is $13, so $48 is what I spent in hardware. And what these look like is, let's see, they got these nice little hooks on them here, and I believe they're 12 inches long. And then your track is full of holes for basically, I don't know, 1/4-inch increments, and you can put them where you want. I picked a spacing here, got them on, spaced them out, and it's usually me and 4 other buddies hunting, so I got 5 pairs of boots up here, a pair of Danners, some Irish Setters, lacrosse, and a couple Rockies. But just to kind of visualize kind of your spacing needs here, you got probably 2 inches, 1.5 inches or so in between boots to allow for some circulation of the air, and That way they're not touching each other. You could crowd them more if you need to, or if you didn't have as many. This bar came at a stock 6 feet, so you could certainly take your hacksaw or sawzall and chop it off shorter, but that is what I use to dictate my distance. Like I said, for height, our stove sits about 2 feet off the ground, and then I want another 2 feet of clearance kind of up to, you know, the bottom of my boots here. After that, I gave a little bit extra height here and came up with kind of just a little wire that's strung across here. And as you can see, well, first let's look at the back. I needed a support brace at the bottom along with these other brackets to keep it from tipping forward or backwards. And since this side is going to be against the wall, I only figured I needed about, I don't know, 8-9 inches of clearance. So I have, let's see, there's a little bit of room back here to hang. I had some old hooks laying around. I think they're $1 a piece or something at Menards if you want some. But you know, jackets if you get rained on. Pants always seems to be in the snow. The bottom of your pants get wet, so you know, if we're a couple feet from the fire hanging, that'll allow those to dry nicely. Let's see what I got here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hooks, spaced about 10 inches apart, I believe. And I had a bonus one here I found in my garage for somebody's, you know, hat or whatever off the end. But beyond that, like I said, I got I strung just a little piece of wire up here, and all I did so I can attach it is put a few screws and wrapped it around there several times. But basically this is like a hat or glove drying rack here. You know, just got some clothespins, lay them across there, you know, get your hats and your gloves dry for those days where you get rained on. And I'll pull these down so you can kind of see what's going on. My son's Ninja Turtle hat. All that being said, pretty simple. Just put a screw and loop the wire and strung it across there on the center of the 2x4, so you had a little space. And if you saw when it was hanging, so it wasn't touching the boots, but it's not against the back touching the clothes either. As far as boots go, pretty sturdy here for guys like me that might be interested in dimensions. Your stud going up here, I had a couple 2x4s laying around. Let's see. I think I cut it here at about 5 foot 6 inches roughly, 66 inches, and that then left me the other piece down here at 2.5 feet. So that's kind of one stud for the bottom, 8-foot stud 2x4, and the side same thing on the other side. And I had an old scrap piece laying around here, so it's all ugly colored, but I'm gonna get the stove out of the way here. And I actually do, this is my basement, I do have a fireplace too here if people want to use these at home, but I plan on using it just in the mountains. But this other piece, took and cut each end at a 45, and let's see what I got here for a total length. This could be kind of whatever. Sorry for the jittery camera, I hate that. Okay, looks like it's about 22 inches on your outside diameter, and that just really helped strengthen up the wobbliness. I put 1, 2, 3 screws in there, did a couple on there, and yeah, mirrored that on both sides. And for strength, obviously, like I said, this white one was just about 6 feet. That was kind of our controlling factor. And so for these back ones, if you want dimensions that I'm using, I actually got 70 and a quarter for that one. And also this top bar, 70 and a quarter. That was another 2x4 stud that I cut off, and the extra piece I had to make kind of a bracket to screw into. This one's 5 inches, and then the other one I turned sideways, if you can kind of see it poking off either end here. And that one is 3.5 inches. So reason for that is if you kind of see, you know, this inside line here right off this one, that would get, it's kind of hard to tell, but it's right on the edge of this 2x4. So I kind of, when I drilled it, I angled it in, and then since this came past on the bottom one here, you know, I had a little bit more wood to work with. I drilled in nicely. Same with this one, goes straight through, and this one goes down centered on the stud. So and the reason for this, you can see, is to get some angle on here. If I can hold my camera level, you can see that I got an angle here because these bars come straight off. And what I wanted from a heat perspective, rising from the fake stove here, is that it comes into the boot and allowed to circulate up, kind of straight up into the toe area. Because if I model here how they normally stick out, kind of hard to get heat up in there, especially from, you know, over by my fake stove. So that's why I angled those. Did that on both ends, obviously. And these hanging systems also come with a whole bunch of other available options, whether you want, you know, a single hook coming out, or, you know, I don't know if they had an 18-inch, but maybe a 16. They had down to like a 6-inch variety, but these are 12s. And yeah, got 5 boots on here comfortably. Like I said, it'll kind of sit in the corner of our tent right by the stove where the corner is. Oh yeah, my other part here, take out your boot liners. On the back side, there is all these nice little holes they got for whether you want to use like a J kind of hook or some straps or whatever. I just, you know, took a clothespin, stuck it through a hole, and, you know, clamped on your boot liners, because those are going to be wet too. So each guy, like I said, get a boot liner spot, get a boot spot, get a hook spot. You know, if you want to put some gloves and hats, you know, certainly if you had the space or the means, you could put other bracketing across here with more hooks for whatever reasons you want. Pretty customizable, but yeah. So if anybody's, oh yeah, also if you you know, these tend to slide down, which is okay, but if for some reason you wanted them, you know, up a little higher, or, you know, maybe closer to the fire for some reason, or maybe your, you know, your hat was hanging right here and you wanted a little separation, pretty easy to just take a clothespin here and slide your boot up wherever you want, put a clothespin and it holds it on there. So I don't know, maybe if you're not a clothespin guy and you just want to stick your liner up here, I don't know, you can make it work, whatever you want. But yeah, I'm kind of a scent control freak, so these go up to hang at night. I'll be hosing these down with some scent killer so they don't make everything else stinky. But yeah, there it is. Make your height, like I said, whatever you want, width whatever you want, saw it off, but you know, depending on your stove and your space needs. But yeah, feel free to comment, or if you have any other specific questions, let me know. If you know, I was curious what these look like. Oh, they come off easy. This is just how they come. This little rubber thing on the end, about 3 inches wide or so. You can just put them anywhere you want on the rack. So if you got a big boot, like I got some 2,000 grammers here, you can just kind of, you know, I just pushed them open. They spread open pretty easily. So yeah, all right, thanks for watching.